everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday, as we say at ICCNet, and thanks for joining us today. Today we have the ultimate combo of the academic nurse and the real nurse to talk to you about the manual. So in the last week or so, you would have received something so much better than online shopping, and that would have been this big box with our beautiful manual in it. What we're going to do today is just step by step turn the pages and talk you through it, and then we'll open up for questions and interaction. So the first thing I wanted to say is that this is a gift, and one of the issues that we were conscious of was this was not a manual that we were sending to you to teach you how to suck eggs. No way. There are extraordinary services out there, extraordinary people out there doing a wonderful job. And I must give you a bit of a secret insight that the National Quality Indicators survey that we did just recently is amazing. You guys are doing a great job, and I know that Carolyn will be sending out some results really soon, but everyone did really, really well as far as meeting the national quality indicators. Obviously, there's a few things on those indicators that are difficult to do, like know the data and the referral rates, but we are fully aware of that. So CHAP is as you may or may not know, is a big study that's been funded by NHMRC. We've got some money to evaluate country cardiac rehab delivery in South Australia, and we're going to do it, make it more patient-centred by having a menu. So country patients in South Australia will be able to choose the fantastic face-to-face or the fantastic telephone service, a new web-based service, which is going to be amazing as well. And of course, these fantastic hybrid services, which some of you work in, which is a combination of the telephone and GP support. So I know that there is no other state in the whole of Australia where country patients are going to receive such amazing services in country rehab. So it's well done, everyone. Now, as well as that, there's been a lot happening in this space. Suddenly, and I say that, and I look at Vanessa and Marie from the Heart Foundation here. The Heart Foundation are doing amazing things as well. So it's about time. I remember being in Canberra last year, and the Minister of Health, Mr. Hunt, said he was going to make it our priority, cardiac rehab. So we just sat there and thought, about time. That's all we could say. It's about time that some money got injected into this area, a really important area. So let's get started, because I really want to have some interactive time. So I'm going to focus our camera on our Marie. Maybe you could be cameraman. Okay. So
not just a real nurse.
No, she also has other skills. So obviously, there's some beautiful artwork, and you can see there's lots of partners involved in the CHAP program. And inside the manual, we sent you a letter, which was really an ad for today's session on the back, and also.
Can I change the view?
Yeah.
To make it up. Can I do that?
Yeah, sure.
Just so.
Gallery.
Gallery view.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a nice shot of my boobs there.
Sorry. Oh, there we go again. It's been a light relief for the afternoon.
Yeah. We're also entertaining. So the letter is really to tell you that one of the most important things you can use this manual for is to get a visual touch and feel, look at what the New Heart Foundation standardized practice modules look like, and also the New Heart Foundation national quality indicators. Someone in the corridor said to me, I think it was at Flinders, they said, you're an old-fashioned nurse, aren't you? And I go, yeah, I love a manual. But I also thought, it would be nice for you guys to just take your time and turn the pages and get your head around what we're putting together in CHAP, but also what cardiac rehab is going to look like across the nation if we achieve our dream, which is to have standardized practice, right, guys? The other thing is, look, this is something you can give your reliever. Christmas is coming up, for them to take home and put under their pillow and read, and get them on track. So it's a mini course in a folder to train up our relievers and people who are going to be perhaps the next generation of cardiac rehab nurses. It's also a tool that we are demonstrating the resources that the Heart Foundation provide for patients that you may not be aware of. And when we build the website, those things will be available in links, and you don't always physically see what you're linking to before you get there. So sometimes it's nice to see it. Take into consideration that the resources that we've given you, it's a sample, it's a chocolate box of samples. They will change. My Heart, My Life is changing pretty soon. The Aboriginal ones, there's a few more additional ones coming along, but that's okay. These are just samples, and we will be sending you more online shopping parcels over the years as the resources come up to date, because the Heart Foundation will give us 50 copies for the clinicians. Yes, Vanessa's nodding away there. So that's a yes for updates. So really that's the first thing we want to use the manual for. It's got a nice index to tell you where everything is. And then there is some details about the CHAP program here on page 5.
I'm doing a terrible job here.
Oh, that's all right.
So
do you want me to do it?
Yes, you do it.
All right. So, and there's the menu. That's the menu that we're talking about, how patients can actually choose how they do cardiac rehab, which is quite different to what's offered elsewhere. And then there's a little instruction page to tell you how to use this manual. Probably the most important thing is this part here. I don't know why that's up.
Yeah, see how it's hard,
okay.
Robyn.
All right, it's not going to, it's, okay, so on page 7, if you turn with me, there is the, oh, why is it upside down?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Page 7 is
But
shows you that in each section we provide information for each module on acute coronary syndrome, surgery, heart failure, and arrhythmia. And then we get started into each of the modules. There are 10 modules. That doesn't mean this is a 10-week course, because not everyone will have these risk factors, and some risk factors can be dealt with in, doubled up in one consult. But it's separated nicely out so the information is clear. And as I was saying just earlier, next year, these sessions, we will be having the Wednesday once a month 45-minute session. These sessions will be module by module, starting module 1 all the way through. So module 1 is the, do it this way, does it work? No, module 1 is the assessment. What I need to tell you is, so let's go to the back. We do have a copy of, in the plastic envelope, we do have a copy of, that's working, of the standardized practice content. Now, what we did, what's the difference between this booklet and the manual, is that this booklet is really just operationalized dot points. What the manual is a detailed script, almost what you might say to a patient as you were teaching. So in the learning process, if you are training someone, you've actually got a script for them to learn what to say and how to say. And the script, as always, is not made up. We've done it. The script is word for word from the resources like My Heart, My Life, which we're currently using. So that's the difference between this and our manual. Also, this is all ACS related, whereas we've extended for CAT all of the patients that you will come across, which so it includes heart failure, arrhythmia, and surgical patients. The next thing we have in the plastic envelope is the national quality indicators. So you can learn how they were developed and what they are, but you're already quite familiar with them. In module 1, we have the assessment form, and if you look in the appendices, you will see Appendix 1 is the standardized data collection form that we've developed for CHAP. And what we'll be sending you over the next 6 months is a link for pre and post assessment that you can use. It's going to be directly linked to the CATCH database so that you can collect your data online. It's automatically entered, so there's no entry jobs for you to do. And if you're in a hybrid, it will actually be secure messaged to medical director or whatever the GP is using. And if you wish to have a copy, we'll organize for you to have an Excel spreadsheet of each patient that you can join together. So the standardized pre and post assessment has all the quality indicators recommended in the standardized practice manual. We've also gone to the trouble of including the questionnaires that you would use to measure depression, health-related quality of life, and the scoring that. So this is probably one of the most important documents in here, and it's worth a look because we're hoping that everyone will come together and be measuring and using the same things. And actually, we work closely with you, Claude, to make sure we're using the tools that CAT is already using.
Yeah.
So we're talking the same thing, and there's only one thing that we weren't measuring, which was quality of life, I think.
Yeah.
And everything else is standard. There is one other new measure, and that is 6-minute walk test. Now, people go, all right, never done that before, can't do that on the telephone.
Face-to-face sites do though.
Yeah. So 6-minute walk test is clearly detailed down here. It's a national measure for exercise capacity. But the exercise physiologists are also saying to me, we might be able to telephone, we might be able to get them to turn their, say if they've got an iPhone, turn their health app on, go for a walk for 6 minutes and tell you how many steps and what distance they did. And you can write that down. So that could be homework from one call to the next. So we're going to come up with some creative ways around it to get our minimum data. So that's nice work on the camera.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Not just a real
Okay, so I'm really excited about this, and I think when you get the link, it will become a really good practical tool. And maybe our face-to-face guys will use the link to save them double entry of collecting data on paper and then entering it into the CATCH website. Also here at the back in more plastic envelopes is a copy of My Heart, My Life, Living Well with Heart Failure, and Understanding Heart Rhythms, which covers the 3 sections, and most of the surgical stuff is in My Heart, My Life. So then just to show you one other module today, let's look at psychological well-being. So we also have in the script a way of rechecking and asking questions about how are you, as you would normally do in a consult, finding out what their preferred name is. We also have started in our project this lovely thing of a fun fact. So when you're talking to someone either on the phone or face-to-face, if you've written down the fun fact about them, you can always use that as the point of engagement in each consult. The modules that they completed, the last module that they've completed, what their goals are, and hopefully those who are working with the Syslynx people, the website and the telephone, will try and integrate their activity monitoring, whatever we come up with for that. You'll see their steps or a graph on how they're going this month, which is what you get anyway on the phone. And then there's specific data to introduce their module. So in this one, it was what score they got for their depression score. So they obviously had a depression score that indicates they need to do this psychological well-being. And then the script commences. I'm not going to read the script to you today, but it's really lovely and it's beautifully written to make sure that you've got the conversation going with the patients with questions. At the end of the script, we've also got lots of links. Now they'll be on the website, but if you wanted to print this and share it with the patient, they could go and look at those links. And the telephone guys are always referring them to other sources, other resources outside of the telephone. And so then in something like emotional well-being, you probably wouldn't have a lot different for heart failure. There's the quiz. No, there's no difference for this one, for this module, between heart failure, arrhythmia, or surgical patients. So actually that's a nice way to standardize practice. So you just do the same thing for everybody who's going to get this module. I'll just go and see if there's actually quite a big difference in arrhythmia in this manual pre-assessment. So we had Sally Gallagher working with us to write the manual information, and so she's added a few additional things in several of the manuals which are related to the arrhythmia people. So you can use the standardized ACS stuff plus the specific stuff for people who've got arrhythmia or have had surgery or heart failure. And so that's the manual. As Claude, have you had a look through yet?
Yes, Robyn, I have.
Thanks, Claude.
No, I think it's important to just show on the manual, Robyn, how they differentiate between the streams.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I'll go through that.
Because you and I know that, but they may not know that.
So, okay, eating well. Is that a good example? No.
I can't remember where it is, where it's all color-coded.
Yeah, that is here on the upside down page I was showing earlier.
Oh, yes.
So there you go. We've also color-coded each of the streams. So if you're looking at the pink information, you're looking at acute coronary syndrome. If you're looking at the surgical patients, that's red, pink for surgery, green for heart failure, and blue for arrhythmia. So each of the sections and additional information are clearly color-coded to help you adapt within the module. So whatever specific, like I think eating and diet, can't have spinach if you're on, warfarin, and can't have too much salt if you're a heart failure patient. So there are little tricks of the trade which will be differentiated in those color-coded parts of the module.
Yes. Like lipid targets are different for arrhythmia patients if they have no known coronary artery disease, as an example.
Yes. And that is also in the medication section. Yeah, good point. Thanks.
And that this is a live document. It's designed to not sit on a shelf. It's designed to be updated. Please don't put the thing at me.
All right.
Yes. That is designed to be updated as the years go on, as more evidence-based
and
guidelines.
As dumb as a paper manual sounds in this day and age, we will be posting. I've just seen some great stuff from the Heart Foundation, so I've got to get some copies of that to you later. But yes, over the process of CHAP, we are here. We can pull out a page, update it if the guidelines have changed, and we can just send you that one page. We won't be sending the whole box of manual every time there's a change, but that's why it's constructed the way it is, with pull-outs and envelopes and pages that come in and out. So easy peasy updates, and we will, it's live. We will keep it up to date. A bit pointless otherwise, isn't it?
We don't want it to sit on a shelf. We want it to be used as a resource.
No, we don't. It's worth having a good read and a good look through. So any other thoughts? Claude?
Not at this stage, Robyn.
Yeah.
Maybe our listeners, our
let's
audience might have.
Any questions out there from the folks? Anyone not received? And we sent the manual to 40 clinicians and friends of the CHAP project. So we've been receiving emails since last week to say, yes, I've received it now. So anyone got any comments, thoughts? You could always come in and say how much you love it. That's really good. We like that. Anyone got any other thoughts for how it could be used? From Alicia. Oh, wow. Thanks, Alicia. Alicia's saying, yep, such a great resource. Requests for copies. Sure, no problems. If you could just email us, email Robyn Clark or Claude. Claude will forward it and we can arrange that, no problems.
When will the link be available?
The link, okay, for the standardized pre and post assessment, hopefully by the end of the year. So maybe we'll start 21 with standardized data entry. I think that's going to be really wonderful because what we're thinking is you could hand a patient an iPad and they could sit there in the waiting room just touching the buttons as they're waiting for you. So you get a couple of iPads. And while they're in the waiting room, they could actually have most of the questionnaires done. And then you could do the measures and anthropometrics when they come in and see you, so the physical assessment. So we haven't timed it yet, but we think the whole assessment is about 45 minutes. We talked about that the other day. We certainly don't want it to be any longer than that. Any other questions, please?
Can I just ask, you're talking about the standardized measures, it's Kerry here. How are they different to, like what we're already doing on Catch already? Is it going to use that type of a resource where you type in the information there as well, or what is it different again?
We've worked really closely with Claude, so we're the same. We're the same. We just have added the missing bits that the national quality standards now say that we should be measuring. So that was health-related quality of life, and not much else was different. What was it? There's two things that weren't there.
It's purely just, it's a really, Kerry, it's enhancing what you guys already do.
Yeah. So will it talk to both databases? Does it, or is it with?
So Kerry,
right.
If you click on the link and the pre and post assessment form opens up for you and fill it in, it will be structured so it automatically goes into the Catch database.
Oh, great. All right. Okay, that's wonderful.
Great is a good word. Then if you're a hybrid, a copy of that will be sent to the GP's database in the secure system. Catch will have that data automatically, and then you will have a copy of your patients. So nice. Okay. No data entry if you're using the link, and everyone's collecting the data in the same way. And it's not an unpleasant experience because most of it, let's say 30 minutes of it, would be a patient just tapping on the iPad. Yes, no, I do, I don't, I am, yeah.
Okay. All right, great.
Yeah, I think what might be a little bit different is measuring nutrition. We've used national nutrition tools, mostly discretionary foods, how many times a week you have takeaway, and you can hit a button, and fruit and veg, how many times a day you eat 5 and 2. So we've just standardized all of that information. So the boys who work on the Catch database are working closely with us, and that will be the first thing that they will do, and it'll be invisible to you. It'll just be, write the links out, everyone's collecting it this way, let's go. Yeah, and you guys can do it on the telephone as well, just asking the same questions from the same, and banging on the iPad or the computer, and then it all goes automatically in if you wanted to do that. Thanks, Kerry. Frank, hosted one of the CHAP study patient focus groups yesterday, and I've been hearing rave reviews, and I also heard some very complimentary things about you, Frank, being a wonderful host, extremely organized. The name badges were mentioned, and that the whole day was a big hit. So what do you think of the manual, Frank?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you. It's really at the preliminary stage, so whilst there was some good slides there to have a look at the dashboard and some of the data collection details, there wasn't a lot of stuff that you could really get into, and I did emphasise to them that as we move forward, then maybe we could have a set of computers or iPads in front of clients just so that they can play with it a little bit as it becomes more and more developed.
Yeah, that's good.
But an excellent day.
Oh, and thank you. And so we're hoping to get around to face-to-face the roadshow with at least one spot in each of the local health networks. So look forward to that. Any other thoughts about the manual, Frank?
I've had one delivered to Millicent, but I haven't had one delivered to Mount Gambier. So I'm only in Millicent once a fortnight. So I've only just collected it and had a quick look at it.
Oh, no worries. Okay.
So that's why I've been so keen to hook onto this session. But no, initially it looks fantastic and standardised and everyone on the same page. So no, it looks great.
Thank you. Thanks.
The data sharing will be good. The data sharing and linking in with cardiologists and GPs, I think that will really put us on the map as well.
And look, we're on your side from the point of view of workload burden. It's just the first thing I heard about 10 years ago was the expectation that people had to put things into 3 different places. You know, the hospital wanted this data, Catch wanted this data, and there were other forms to fill in. And that was a workload burden. If we can work just to reduce that, would be a major achievement for service delivery. So our intentions are good for sure. We definitely did not want to add another layer of data collection, but rather take it away. So I even imagine that, you know, if we rock and roll rather smoothly, maybe we could send some of it to the patients to fill in via the link. So they can do that at their leisure at home, which is what we're getting feedback is what they like to do rather than coming to hospital appointment visits. But yeah, thank you, Frank. Any other questions? Sorry, keep going.
I'd strongly recommend to my colleagues that they do attend and sit down on the workshops. I certainly found that very valuable, those 2 hours, and gave me a different perception and on the program and on the project, and some good introductions to 2 of the primary principals there in regards to Elaine and Katie. So they're fantastic individuals and great to link in with them. But thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you, Frank. And we're really proud of Katie. She's one of your own, a country nurse from Naracoorte who's taken the giant leap to do a PhD. She's a bit crazy, obviously. And she's so passionate and like she talks the talk. So last night, our Katie spent all night analysing that data. So she's listened to all the transcripts and was writing all the notes of the feedback. So she was really passionately hot into it. So what the patients, I said that this morning, it's crazy that you would start a project without asking patients what they think and what they do and what they need. And so there's some really valuable stuff from your workshop. As you said, it was good for you to sit in on it. And what you made me just think, Frank, is what we'll do is we'll advertise the region that we're coming to and the day. So if you're not necessarily at Mount Gambier, anyone local can pop down and visit us, including hybrid nurses, very welcome to come and join the sessions. And the patients, were so passionate and enthusiastic, and then a little, we also had gifts for them, didn't we, Frank, which they thought were really cool.
Absolutely, lovely morning tea as well. So it was a beautiful couple of hours, and some of the clients I'll be catching up with tomorrow, so I'll look forward to hearing their feedback as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, any other comments about the manual? Anyone else had it under their pillow over the last week or so, having a good read? Okay, any other questions? Any other comments, Claude? While you're thinking. Well, I think this was our introduction. This session today was to simply tell you we have not sent you a box with a manual in it to teach you how to suck eggs. We have the highest respect for the services and for those of you out there who are delivering cardiac rehab in the country. However, we're hoping that over the next 2 years, there'll be lots of gifts coming to you in the mail, which we hope are helpful tools for your toolkit. And that's purely our intention. As you work through it, it's a page turner. As you work through it, we would really welcome little email notes to us. Even if it says there's a typo on page 29, we don't mind that. And the next exciting gift will be the roadshow visit and the link to standardized data collection. So they will keep coming over the next year or so. Also, when the website opens up, we're thinking that you might want to refer patients to the websites. Maybe there's a video that they may understand. I heard last night we were talking about our apps, and one of the it was at yours, Frank, that your patients were saying they preferred video information rather than written text, and that a lot more people wanted animated heart anatomy and physiology. So what does a stent look like in a heart? What does a normal heart look like? Where are all these quadruple, triple vessels that people just rattle on about? Show us where the stent goes. That was one of your ladies yesterday, Frank. Is that correct?
That is correct. And yes, it'll be interesting. I mean, the general age was 75 above. So it'll be interesting to see other workshops if they've had younger individuals, if they have the same sort of questions. But yeah, these guys are very interested in the black and white nature of cardiology, yes.
Yeah, so when the website is up and running, any patient who says, oh, I don't even know where my heart is, you can say, hey, we've got a website where you can look at a whole bunch of videos and pictures that will show you, maybe a little bit more than what's available in the booklets and pamphlets as well. I always love those animated videos. Yeah,
It is good.
Yeah. Okay, any other thoughts before we go? Any questions from the audience here?
That way.
Anyone had a look through? Vanessa and Marie, what did you think, Marie?
I thought it was fabulous. I must admit, it was just a quick look through, just to get a really high level view of what was included in all the ways. It was hefty, very substantial, but it was evident that a lot of work has gone into it, and it's very comprehensive.
So the other reason for making the manual was that the PDF, when we finished it, was 187 pages long. And anyone knows you're not even likely to click on a PDF that big because it's too scary, let alone read through it. So the physical tactile thing of page turning probably makes it more engaging and digestible.
Very nursey. It's very nursey, Robyn.
I know. I can't help. See, you say bad things about me, but deep down.
We are being recorded here.
Oh, sorry.
But what I would have to say is that the CHAP manual is enhancing current practice.
Thank you.
Yes, it's not something that is new to any of us. It's enhancing what we already do. It's just ensuring that it's standardized that we continue to abide by evidence-based practice, that we adhere to gold standards. And I think it's a really exciting space as a group in cardiac rehab
Nice.
to be, you know, all doing the same
Yeah.
thing. It's a great way to measure activity as a state.
Yeah.
That's sort of, you know, it's a rare thing in cardiac rehab.
It also makes you feel like you're on one team as well. Like, yeah, I think that's a good feeling to say you're not alone, you're in a team, there's lots of support and help for you. That's a nice feeling.
Yeah, and I think for people at the face-to-face sites, if it can streamline what they do, as I say, triple documentation is a waste of time. So if it can streamline all of those processes, then that's got to be a good thing for them. More time for your patient. And
I'll just go over to Alini, who's sitting there. Alini is our new senior research fellow, and she went down to Mount Gambier yesterday. Just a few reflections on our first consumer workshop with Frank.
It was a pleasure for me to be there and to meet all the patients. They were very enthusiastic, as Frank said, like an average of 75 to 80 years old. And I found them so aware of all the technologies around. So they mentioned Zoom, they mentioned Facebook, video conferencing, all this kind of stuff. And they seem to be very interested in having this kind of technology aggregated to the wonderful job that Frank already does there.
Okay.
So it was very nice to be there. And thanks again, Frank, for all your support there.
So it's exactly what you were just saying, Claude, that all of the things that CHAP is bringing to practice is not reinvention or policing, but really tools to enhance, to help. Yeah.
It's good to align ourselves too with the national standards. That's really important. That's a body of work that's being done at a national level, and I think it's great that South Australia can keep up with that.
Keep up, or maybe lead, perhaps.
Lead that.
Lead is a good word.
Yeah, and I think it's a good resource for, you know, maybe some country sites that are thinking about starting a face-to-face program. You know, we have many pockets in country SA that could do with a face-to-face program, or at least link in with a hybrid program. And I think for those people who are new to this area of cardiac rehab, it's a really easy step-by-step tool for them to be able to use, and then tap into all of us who have been.
I've been looking for you.
I've been asking
Someone didn't turn their mic on. Okay, all right, perfect timing. So everybody, just do the
like a selfie.
Yeah, selfie. Selfie. So next month, we thought the perfect topic to cover in December is food. Why not? Because that's what everyone's going to be thinking about. So we've got our wonderful nutritionist talking to us about healthy eating for heart patients. And next year, we plan to have a structured, standardized monthly program that will reflect the modules. So, you know, also having the module around, the manual around module by module. We are working with the university. Those of you who are dedicated and attend all 10 sessions will get a certificate. And you will also be able to use that for CPD points. So you can pop that into your profile, and we will try and bring next year some really swanky national experts into, because Zoom is a thing now, so they can be sitting anywhere in the country and come and talk to us. And we had some experience with that, with the wonderful lecture we had with Emma last week. So wondering, will the assessment info transferable to CME? Yes.
As they're talking about CME having assessment data entries that are capable in the future doing away with the need to have client files.
Yeah.
You've worked with the CME group, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. A good question, Kerry. Kerry's asked, well, she's wondering if the assessment info will be transferable to CME, as they are talking about CME having assessment data entry, etc. capability in the future. Let's make that our take-home homework for this week and come back with an update on that question. That's an excellent question, Carrie. So next month, our favourite topic for December, let's talk about nutrition or food, particularly Christmas eating, and I look forward to seeing you all then. So thanks for attending, everyone. Great day, and thanks for the interaction.